This is one of our RAPTR shorts, meaning that it's not a full 30-minute episode. It has to do with a fishing adventure we had at Sweet Arrow Lake. So in a little while, if you want, you can go watch that full episode at Sweet Arrow Lake, where we caught a bunch of fish, including 2 beautiful trout, which we're cooking 2 different ways. First, here we're going to show you how to make an old-fashioned appetizer with a modern twist to a little zip. And then I'm going to show you how I made the trout 2 different ways, making smoked trout jerky and a RAPTR style trout with shallots and some herbs and olive oil in a tinted aluminum foil style cooker in the grill. Okay, let's watch. My grandfather, Clarence, was Pennsylvania Dutch. So for part of this meal, I'm going to go out and forage for these guys right here. You all know they're dandelions, right? We're going to have some batter-dipped dandelion. And to make my dandelion flowers, they're going to be fried as a side dish. I'm going to use a little bit of New Orleans-style fish fry bread and seafood mix because it's nice and spicy. And we're going to use a dash of mother-in-law's gochugaru, Korean chili flakes. Don't know if I pronounced that right or not, but I use this stuff when I make homemade kimchi. So stir that in, and then we'll dip the flowers in there and fry them. Okay, let's get our appetizer in the pan. Dandelion flowers. Oh man, they looking good! Got this wonderful appetizer, fresh foraged from the field out behind our house. The dandelion flowers, dip them in your little sauce. They're very good. They're loaded with antioxidants. They are extremely good for you. They can help with digestion. They can help supposedly lower blood pressure, all these kinds of things. I don't know if any of that's true, but it's a free, easy to find treat. Now, just make sure you don't gather them from where dogs do their business or the road's been sprayed for chemicals for weed control, okay? Those, just get them that they're not adulterated in any way. I'm gonna have another one. The main part of this meal will be the fresh rainbow trout I caught the other day at Sweet Arrow Lake. I caught 2 beautiful lunker rainbows, lots of meat on these. I'm gonna show you 2 different ways I'm preparing it with recipes that I devised myself through tasting and testing and such. Look at the beautiful, gorgeous orange meat on these trout. Fantastic. So I will put the ingredients and the proportions that I came up with for this marinade that I made based on things that I like, my flavors, my tastes. Everybody makes marinade differently, but for my trout jerky, I'm gonna smoke it with this stuff. This is tagine. It's very good. It's got a taste of lemon in it. I got some real lemon, some real lime. Yes, you could use real fruit if you wanted to. This stuff right here is amazing. Bragg 24 herbs and spices sprinkle. It has no salt in it because there's enough of that over here in the Worcestershire sauce. Got some maple syrup and some local honey. And then back there we got some brown sugar. Mix that all together, marinate, and smoke. Okay, so I took all of the dry and wet ingredients that I showed you and put them into my marinade for my trout jerky, and then I sliced up some fresh shallots, like 1 big fresh shallot and 2 giant cloves of the elephant garlic we grow here at the house. So you can see I put that in there, and then I let that sit overnight. Then I'm gonna shake it up and put it right in with our trout and let that sit for 6 hours. And here you can see the marinade, and I've cut our trout up into strips, more or less evenly sized strips. And I'm gonna put a little bit of the marinade in here first on the bottom so that I'm sure I'm gonna coat everything on the bottom of this marinade tray. And then this is easy. Just lay these strips in here. Right? Couldn't be easier. I know most books tell you to keep the skin on, but I didn't do that. I don't know. Maybe that was a mistake. We'll see. Okay, so you get the idea. The way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna put a layer of marinade, then a layer of trout like that, then another layer of marinade over top of that, spread it out evenly, then another layer of trout, blah, blah, blah. Then we'll let that marinade for 6 hours, which seems to be the median length of time when I read most people's recipes and procedures. And then I'm gonna put it in the smoker for 6 hours or so. And I'll show you that when we get to that. I'm gonna guesstimate that that's 2 or so pounds of fresh rainbow trout fillets in there. And it was approximately 2 cups of this marinade that I put together. And again, I'm gonna let it now sit in the refrigerator for 6 hours. I'll stir it up every now and then I'll put it out on the smoker. I mean, it already looks pretty good. And the marinade tastes good. And I think, like, if you're gonna use this marinade, great. If you're gonna make up your own, great. If you're gonna use somebody else's, that's great too. But what I did was I tasted mine along the way and made it for my taste, how I like it. Some people like it more sweet, some people like it more salty. I like a nice combination of both, and I really like citric acid infusion. I like to taste that lemon juice or that lime juice in there and let it do its thing, along with the apple cider vinegar and such. That was part of the Bragg's herbal seasoning we put in there. They actually dry out apple cider vinegar and put it in there. Pretty neat, huh? And before I pulled out the trout that I wanted to use for making trout jerky, I saved some for tonight's supper, and I used a different marinade for this. This is being marinated in olive oil and fresh sliced shallots and some of that Bragg seasoning and a little bit of citrus juice and just a wee bit of soy sauce in there. That's because I wanted some salt infusion into this. So tonight we're just gonna kind of bake this in the grill, and hopefully it's gonna turn out great. Now we put all of the marinade on top of this trout, including the fresh sliced up shallots and garlic. I'm gonna close up the foil and put it in the grill for a while. Next stop will be on our table. Okay, so it's been about 12-15 minutes. Let's open that up. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That looks pretty good. I think that's done. All finished. Let's take it in. Okay, so we're gonna have this trout with a nice fresh salad. You got these dandelion appetizers, got some potatoes au gratin, and this trout that just came in off the grill. Go ahead, scoop out a piece there. I'll hold my plate up. Man, it smells really great. It has a great aroma. Now, I don't know if you want to eat all of the shallots and stuff. It depends how much you like onion flavor, you know, but I like it, so I'm gonna let it on there. Okay, wow, it's nice and flaky. Honestly, that was about 12 minutes on the grill. Now the grill was set to 400 with the vents closed though, so the fire wasn't coming up through like I was charcoaling something. And now I'm gonna let that same grill simmer down to 180 to the smoking setting, and then I'm gonna smoke the other trout for 6 hours, and I'll show you that when it's done. So let's taste this. Yeah, it's really good. Really good. So this is trout RAPTR style. I think you'll enjoy it. I sure do. Supper is over. The trout was delicious. My wife, who can be my greatest critic, and I mean that in a positive way, said it was the best trout she ever enjoyed. I thought it was too. It was good. So now we've got the smoker set up for 183. We're gonna leave these strips on here that have been marinating for 6 hours and come back in another 6 hours now in the smoker and see if we can make some delicious jerky. And to see how the smoked trout turned out, you have to go to the completed episode of RAPTR Adventures for the Sweet Arrow Lake adventure. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.